I hated getting water from the well. I hated it. But I needed water, and we only had one well. So I had to go. In the hot, hot noonday sun, I would always go. Once, just once, the morning air was so muggy, so stifling. I knew the day would be blistering hot. I thought, maybe I could be normal just this once and sneak in amongst the women early in the morning, beat the sun before it got hot and high in the sky. Oh, I hated getting water from the well. And that day, I should have just stayed home thirsty. The women, they were they hated me. They whispered to one another about me. They told their children to stay far from me. Their children. They told them I was unworthy. Not long ago, we were children ourselves. We were friends. We used to run around the well and play, helping our mothers gather water, smiling, laughing, living. But now, my father, it doesn't matter now. I'd have to take care of myself for a long time now, and I did that how I could, right or wrong. Man. I had to bear the burden of being unworthy and bear the beating of the noonday sun. But one day, my life changed forever. It was another hot day when I arrived at the well. I was alone, of course. But then he came, this man. He walked up to the well, wiped his brow, and sat down near the edge of the well, not too far from me. I thought of turning around. I thought of taking a long walk back home, but I was so thirsty. At first, I was afraid. I learned long ago to fear men, especially strange men like this who certainly would not belong here in Samaria. But this man, something inside me told me not to fear. I approached the well hesitantly. I think I thought if I moved slowly enough, he might not see me. As I began lowering my jar into the well, he turned to me and smiled. He smiled at me. No one had smiled at me in a long, long time. I don't think I smiled back. I don't think I even knew how to smile anymore. I continued my task, moving more quickly. This man was unsettling. Then he spoke to me. He asked me for a drink of water, and I almost dropped my jar. No man ever spoke to me, not in public, not unless he wanted something from me. I told him I was a Samaritan, a woman. I reminded him that he was a Jew. He smiled again. I think he was fully aware of all that. Then he offered me living water, and I knew he was talking to me because he was crazy. Living water? He told me if he gave me this living water that I would never thirst, that I would never have to come to this horrible well again. And you know what? When he offered me that living water, I wanted it more than life itself. I asked him for it. Then he dropped the ball. Go and call your husband and come back. He knew. I know he knew that I had no husband, that I had many men in my life. Suddenly I felt shame, the shame of a noonday walk to the well. I tried to hide, standing right in front of him, but his eyes, they didn't shame. It's as though he spoke into this dark part of my life, not to condemn it, but to tell me he sees me, he knows me, and was still willing to be with me here in public, sitting underneath the noonday sun. Then he told me the most amazing truth. For ages we waited for God's chosen one, the Messiah. He asked me if I believed in that promise, and I told him yes, more than life itself. Oh, Lord. He smiled again. Then leaning in a little closer to me, he said, I, the one speaking to you now, am he. And I had no doubt of it. There he was, the Messiah, standing right in front of me, loving me. I ran back to town. I forgot my water jar. I ran back to the village to tell everyone about him, tell them I met the Messiah. I told them my story, and they listened. They listened to me. They believed me. I believed in myself. wasn't so unworthy. I wasn't unloved. The Savior of the world showed me that. And now I only walk to the well in the hot, hot noonday sun to find others who were once like me and tell them to thirst no more.